Okay, so looking at problem number 3. In my opinion, at best it looks pretty skewed. At best it could be a kite. Maybe it looks sort of like a rhombus to you, but definitely not a square, not a rectangle, because you can obviously see these 90-degree angles don't work. The other way you can cheat the system slightly is take the corner of a sheet of paper, and if it is drawn to scale, if it's a 90-degree angle, it should fit up in there. So at this point, we're choosing either rhombus or kite, and the difference being that rhombus has 4 congruent sides, and the kite, that these 2 would be congruent, and these 2 would be congruent, but not all 4. So we're looking to see if this one matches this one. So again, you can count your slope. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 over 5. And then 1, 1, 2, 3, 5 over 1 again. This one's positive. This one's also positive, but it's a rise of 5, run of 1. So the slopes are not the same. So they're definitely not parallel, which is good because they're adjacent. But if we do our math, so 5 squared plus 1 squared equals, because remember, it's just making a triangle for your distance. So 1 and 5 is going to give me the hypotenuse, so the length of this hypotenuse. So that's going to give me 25 plus 1, which will give me 26. And we have c squared. We need to get rid of that square off of c, so we're going to take the square root. So the square root of 26 is the length of RS and TS. So this is RS and TS. So we know those 2 are congruent. So that's looking good for a kite. But again, that means these 2 also have to be congruent. So if I look at QR, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So rise of 5 over 2. Again, still a positive line. So that's QR. And then if I look at QT, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So it's a rise of 1, run of 6, which is QT. These 2 are not going to have the same length because it's going to be 5 squared plus 2 squared equals c squared. 1 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. So these are definitely not going to have the same length. For the record, though, you do need to show it because ultimately you're proving that you know what you're talking about. So 5 squared is 25 plus 4. So that's going to be the square root of 29 for QR. And then 36, because 6 squared is 36, plus 1 is going to be the square root of 37. So because these don't match, then it's definitely not a kite, because that means I can't say that this one is congruent to this one, even though I just marked it. So these 2 are not congruent to each other, so we can't put those markings there. These 2 are, but we messed up down here. As far as backing up and going as basic as possible, parallelogram, which means this side needs to be parallel to this side, and that means RS needs to have the same slope as QT. So comparing RS to QT, so RS was the 1 over 5. So this one, and QT is 1 over 6. It's not the same slope, so they're not parallel. So this is just a quadrilateral.